let's get into this. We've got the brand new Nitecore EDC29. And if this light looks a little familiar, that is probably because I have already done a review on the EDC27 UHI and the EDC25. And we're going to talk about the differences between these three lights in a second. So this just came in a bag, and the reason being is this was a media sample. I've had this light for about a month now, 3 weeks maybe. I will actually put a picture up of what the packaging looks like. So when you buy this light, that's what you're going to get. Same thing happened with this EDC27. It was a media sample, and I did not have the packaging for it. Now, my light came with this paracord lanyard with this carabiner on it, which is pretty cool. And it also came with the USB to USB Type-C charging cable. So you're going to have that nice, fast charging. All right, now before we dive deep into the EDC29, let's just kind of talk about how these lights have evolved. So this was the first one I reviewed, the EDC25. This is a 3000 lumen output light, which is pretty damn impressive considering how thin this is. You got your belt clip here on the back. This is about the size of a larger pocket knife. Now the difference with the 25, before we go to the 27, if you look on this, this just has LED lighting. So your 4 green lights over here are your battery level, and your 4 lights over here are your brightness levels. So when you are on level 3, you're going to have 3 blue dots. There's 4, 1, 2, etc. So then comes the EDC27 UHI. Difference with this one has 3100 lumens, but they went to a digital screen. So now when you cycle through, it tells you the lumen output. Right now we're on 200 lumens, and we've got 4 hours of battery life left if we keep it on 200 lumens. So that was the difference. Now they did make this just a touch thinner and just a little bit shorter. Same belt clip, same USB-C charging port right there. But then comes out the EDC29, and this thing is insane. I've already shot the outdoor footage after dark with it. This thing is cranking out 6,500 lumens. And if you look, it's a little bit thicker than the 27. Where you really see the difference is here, and that will be on the head. You can see how much bigger your lights are on the front. You can tell how much I've been carrying this one at work. It is just full of crud. All in all, this is still a very small, thin light, and it's cranking out 6,500 lumens. Before we dive into all the cool features on this, let's go over the specs real quick. You've got a length of 5.26 inches. Your width is 1.36 inches. And this thing is only 0.76 inches thick. It is a little heavier than the other two lights. This one weighs in at 5.64 ounces. Now, I already told you the max output on this is 6,500 lumens. And it has a beam distance of 437 yards. And the candela on this is 35,360. It also is IP54 rated. That's your dust-proof, waterproof rating. And we're going to dive into that here towards the end of the video. And the impact resistance on this, it can be dropped from 1 meter. All right, now I want to talk about my favorite upgrade on this, other than the 6,500 lumens is pretty awesome. But everyone's biggest complaint with the EDC27 and the EDC25 was the lockout feature. Now, I never personally locked these lights out. I never had an issue with them turning on in my pocket or anything like that. The problem is the lockout feature. The 27 wasn't as bad as the 25, but if you held this button down for more than 3 seconds, it would lock itself out. And now you can see it will not turn itself back on. Now, in order to turn it back on, you had to tap this button 3 times and then hold it down, and it would unlock. Now, if you practiced with this, and once you carried this light long enough, that lockout feature was pretty easy, but it was a major complaint people had, and I honestly don't blame them. Now we move on to the EDC29, and that issue is no longer an issue because we now have a lockout switch on the side. So right now, I do believe we are on. Okay, so we're on the 400 lumens. Now I'm going to hit this switch up, and we're going to go to turn it on. It's going to tell us our voltage, but it's going to let us know that we are locked out. So I cannot turn this on. We'll kick it back down, and there we go. Our light is on. So this was a really awesome feature. All right, now we're going to get into our light modes on this. We've got the exact same screen as the EDC27. We're going to turn this on. Okay, we're on 400 lumens right now, so I'm going to cycle through. We're going to go back to the beginning. So we're on 15 lumens. This does have a full charge on it right now. And this is letting us know that we have 61 hours of battery life left. Okay, we're going to touch it, and we're going to hit it again. Now we're at 100 lumens. That's letting us know that we have 13 hours. We'll go to 400, and now we have 3 hours of battery. We're going to go to the 1200 lumens. We have 2 hours on the brightest setting with this button. Now, there is something that has changed. Your big button right here, this was always either your strobe, depending on what you programmed it for, or this would kick it into your max beam or turbo, whatever you want to call it. Now, with this, it's different. If you full press it, you're in 6500 lumens. If you half press it, you have a 3000 lumen spotlight. Now, if you see this graph that is dropping down, now we're at 6500, you see it's dropping faster. What that is doing is it is protecting this light from overheating. So now this light has kicked back down out of that turbo mode, so this thing doesn't get so hot that it burns you if it touches you. Now the EDC27 also has this feature, and it's really cool. Now you're only going to be able to run that 6500 lumens for, well, we'll just see here. Let's shut this off. We're going to 65. Got about an 8-second runtime on that turbo, and it's going to kick down. Now once you let off of it, you can see that this graph is going back up. It is in a cool down mode, and it's going to cool itself down. Now while we're talking about these modes, people are going to ask, well, how do you get it into strobe? Well, let me show you. I would never use the strobe. I've got this button programmed to run my 3000 lumen floodlight and my 6500 lumen max output. But if you do want to run the strobe, what you're going to do, let me make sure I do this right. You're going to hold your turbo button down, and you're going to hit that button. Okay, then you're going to let off. Now you are in strobe. So this is programmed for the strobe mode. Now if you want to go back to the spotlight and the floodlight like I've got, you're going to hold that down again and hit your small button, and now you're back to spotlight and your floodlight. Alright guys, you know the drill. We are out behind the house, and that tree in front of us is 40 yards away. So we're going to start off with the 15 lumens. That actually lights it up a little bit. Alright, now we're going to go up to 100 lumens. Now let's go up to 400 lumen. And now we're going to 1200. Really bright. Alright, now we're going to hit our 6500 lumens. Alright, now we're going to run a side-by-side comparison of the EDC29 against the EDC27 UHI. So here is our 29 on 1200 lumens, and here is our EDC27 UHI on 1100 lumens. So we'll shut this off. There's your EDC 27. And there is your 1200 lumens on the EDC 29. Definitely a big difference. All right, guys, we are out on the back of the property, and that tree line out there is 200 yards away. So let's see what our EDC 29 can do here at 200 yards. All right, so we're going to start off with the 15 lumens. Obviously, we can't see anything. Now we're going up to 100. Still the same. I can't see anything out there along the edge of that tree line. 400. Starting to light it up a little bit, but not much. And now the 1200. Now I can see the edge of the tree line pretty well. Now let's try our 6500 lumens. Now I can see everything out there on that tree line. All right, so the after dark footage was pretty impressive. So let me give you my final thoughts on my first impressions with this light. I'm really liking the fact that they could keep a light this small and be able to put out 6500 lumens. And having that 2-hour runtime even on 1200 lumens, that's pretty amazing too. I like these nice sturdy belt clips. I love the fact that they finally put a lockout switch on this. We've needed this on all of them. So they've really done some awesome upgrades. But this light does have a major flaw, and so does this light, and so does this light. And I am going to be putting a video out on that. My biggest issue with these lights is that IP54 rating. This has the IP54. This has the IP54, and I'm going to be putting out a video here shortly on what happened to this light. It works fine now, but I do need to let people know. Now, to Nitecore's defense, they are letting you know that it is an IP54 rating. So if you're not familiar with waterproof and dustproof ratings, IP54 is basically dustproof and splashproof. Now, I've gotten these lights wet plenty of times. I'm a plumber. That's what I do for my day job. So both of these lights have gotten wet quite a few times. The problem with these lights, they cannot be submerged. And that's what happened to the 27, and we'll get into that in that next video, like I said. And the same holds true with the EDC29. This is only IP54 rated. So it's only going to be splash proof. If you submerge this light, bad things are going to happen. If you get this thing underwater, if you splash it with water, if you have it out in the rain, it's going to be just fine. But if you submerge it, you're going to have big problems out of this light. And that was my only issue with this 29. I just wish now that we're on like 3 generations of this light now, this design, that we could at least have an IPX6 rating, but I would love to see this with an IPX7 rating. That would actually make this the perfect light. It's super thin. You've got that manual lockout. You got the digital display letting you know how much battery's left. It's just an awesome light. You've got all this awesome texturing here and here. It really is. It's truly an amazing light. It's fast recharging with the USB-C, and it just needs an IPX7 waterproof rating. If they could do that with, say, the EDC30, this will be one of the best, if not the best, everyday carry light out. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.